So how did you find out about Woodstock?
Well, I was just had graduated high school, and it just seemed to, they were advertising it on the radio, come to the biggest rock festival of all time in Woodstock, New York in August.
What was your most favorite experience?
There was a lot of really good experiences at Woodstock. I think listening to the music was my favorite experience. The music went on all day, all night. Sometimes we would leave for an hour or two. Our little area where we had a little blanket in a sea of people. And I remember there was always mud. And the mud was kind of growing. There was like rivers of mud, and they were getting bigger and bigger over time.
So, about the mud and things like that, how did you feel about conditions?
The conditions were terrible. They got worse and worse. But it wasn't raining all the time. It would rain, and then the sun would come out, and then it would rain, the sun would come out. So sometimes it would be actually pretty nice, and then it would just pour for like an hour, and then... But on Sunday, it just started raining all the time, and I think I left around 2 o'clock on Sunday.
Could you talk about like how big the crowd was?
The crowd was huge. It was a giant farm field, now all mud, in a valley, so the stage was kind of at the bottom of the valley, and the cornfield went all the way up. I had never seen that many people. There were probably 500,000 or 600,000 or 700,000 people sitting there in this gigantic field, all the way up to the top of the field. There was like a food court, like you would see today, but by Saturday afternoon, the food court had been dismantled. They had run out of food, and they gave the rest of the food away, so there was nobody selling anything anymore.
So, how do you think the Woodstock Festival impacted your life and the lives of the kids in your generation?
Well, since it was such a spectacular event, and since it was kind of a meeting of all these different types of people, they were from middle-class kids to hippies to people from California, people on buses and all kinds of things. Everybody had this kind of 3-day experience, which was all about, rock and roll, and really no worries, and not worrying about the future or anything like that. It really changed a lot of people. I mean, it changed me, but it changed a lot of people.
What do you think the significance of it was, like, symbolically, not just about the music and the drugs and everything like that?
Well, the symbol of the time, the meaning at the time was you could put 500,000 or 600,000 people together in one space, and they all got along. They didn't fight. There wasn't shootings. There wasn't stabbings. They weren't being robbed, and it was all peace, love, and brotherhood, which was kind of that whole flower hippie generation. And everybody really did get along, and they shared things with each other. They shared their experience. They shared their food. And that was part of the symbolism that could actually happen, and it worked very, very well. Sitting and staring out of the hotel